guys, but I'm gonna go for
now
it.
in Finder, Pages,
But welcome back to another episode of
Google Chrome,
Blind Proofing.
Chrome, 4,
We
reload this
are
page. You are currently
here
on
to
a banner
do
inside
Nimbus
of web
Stormdrinker
content.
today.
Banner,
I
guide,
know it's a little
selected,
late, but
toggle button.
I just
Visited, link,
It is what it
YouTube
is.
Premium Home. Skip navigation. Visited,
is
link,
what
skip
it
navigation. Up to
is.
heading level 1 at blindfolded proof. 720 subscribers.
Okay.
720 end of 44 videos. Join me while I write my next description. Join for end of 724 join link visit link community group latest selected popular oldest heading level more actions heading level 2 views streamed 2 minutes ago. You are current heading level 3 2 views streamed 2 minutes more actions heading level 16 views streamed 1 day heading 2 heading level more actions heading level oldest tab reload this page. You are currently on a banner inside of web guide group search end tool create group notify group tooltip account end of navigate visit
Ziggy, stop.
link link subscriptions group link movies and link description link customize channel visited link manage videos play posts group latest pop oldest heading more action heading level 2 views streamed 3 minutes ago.
Oh,
You
Jesus
heading
Christ.
level 3
Am I
more
not loud?
actions but heading level oldest tab popular latest group search button posts tab
I have no idea,
group
guys, if I'm
playlists tab live selected tab 4
I'm live or not.
4 blindfolded proof live selected tab group playlists post search group latest selected tab popular oldest heading level more actions heading level 3 level 2 link RoyalRoad Experiment week number 6 Mythical Heretic refresher part 3. You are currently on a oldest tab heading level 3 level 2 link
think this is
group.
it.
You are currently on a group. To interact with items in this
could be
group,
tripping.
press Control,
9:31
Option,
p.m.
Shift,
Try again.
down
Switch
arrow.
off.
Complimentary YouTube video 2 minutes 2-minute play. Unmute keyboard shortcut M button group.
Okay.
Shortcuts available. M. You are currently on a button group. To click this button, unmute keyboard shortcut M, Streamlabs desktop, Finder, Pages, 17, body, header, out of documents, set full, minimize, full screen, button, window sharing, egg tile dimmed, closing menu, document, layout area, in document, layout.
Can I get a test comment? Sorry, guys, my cat is crazy. Could I get a test comment? Anybody? Anybody watching? Could I get a hey, what's good? See if we get the comments working and coming through. Maybe we don't.
Google Chrome. Chrome 4 RoyalRoad Experiment week number 6 Mythical Heretic refresher part now in Pocket Studio. Address and search bar press tab, then enter to ask AI mode. Edit text. Now in 4 RoyalRoad Experiment. Now in Pocket Studio. Write stories for the
Oh, somebody said something.
track progress arrow right icon button group. You are currently on a button.
Go ahead
Track
and
progress,
say it.
address, and search bar press. Now in 4 RoyalRoad Experiment week number 6.
I think we're in
Pages.
here, guys.
Window toolbar window sharing session button mid close window exit full tile window to right of screen dimmed closing menu footer group body in edit text body
Well, we are starting with
beginning of text
17. Last time we had her climbing up the mountain her family owns. So this should be really exciting.
Increase system volume.
I'm going to turn this up because it's loud out there and I'm tired, so...
17. Your
Speechify has new
riding a
window.
bike down a passage,
Actions
somehow
available.
Still managing to give. Dark alley,
Speech
evil forest,
muted.
and shadowy castle Vise all at once with the sun gleaming above. Nimbus 17. Your
Dominic!
occupants, riding her bike down a passage that was somehow 17. Your opulence. Riding her bike down a passage that was somehow still managing to give, dark alley, evil forest, and shadowy castle Vise all at once with the sun gleaming above, Nimbus did not know. She arrived, what she felt to be after more than 300 miles of uphills, to a massive gate that gave view of the palatial manor inside, all while displaying a formidable defensive strength by mere sight alone. Nimbus didn't have to look long to find the buzzer.
Could be 1VN
Pressing
camera
it
not
as
great.
She cleared her throat. Hello, I'm here to see the Elder for my core training. Who are you? Came the voice of a little kid. Nimbus Storm Drinker, the Elder requested I come train on how to form a core. She heard mumbling
You're
come through the
yelling,
intercom,
grab your toes
as if the
while
child
I'm
had held
live
the
and I'm
button and was
annoyed.
whispering. The Elder
You're
say you
yelling,
about a
give me your
decade behind
toes to
schedule
your
on that
sister
training.
while I'm
Much of
live
your
and I'm
value
annoyed.
is in the time you could have spent doing this before now, or something like
I don't
that.
care. I'd
You
like
know
it to
how
stop,
these dragons
please.
be speaking, you mean? Said the kid, speaking in a
Dominic,
slang unfamiliar
everybody
to Nimbus.
respects you while you stream.
She shook her head slowly. Of
I'd
what
like
I
it if you
caught
did
of
the
that.
same.
Nope, I don't know what you mean at all. There is a fucking dragon in there. Why? Damn,
Sorry,
who
guys,
is
I'm going to
you?
rewind this
A
a little
dragon
bit,
is a...
because I would like to hear this.
Hello, I'm here to see the Elder for my core training. Who are you? Came the voice of a little kid. Nimbus Storm Drinker, the Elder requested I come train on how to form a core. She heard mumbling come through the intercom, as if the child had held the button and was whispering. The Elder say you
That
about a
kid could
decade
be
behind
1VN
schedule on that
better.
training. Much of your value is in the time you could have spent doing this before now, or something like that. You know how these dragons be speaking, you mean? Said the kid, speaking in a slang unfamiliar to Nimbus. She shook her head slowly. Of what I caught of that, nope, I don't know what you mean at all. There is a fucking dragon in there, why? Damn, who is you? A dragon is a powerful old person, a.k.a. Grandpa Grumpy over here, said the kid, laughing. Look, at this point I'll take anything. I don't care if I'm late or whatever, I guess, but I just need somewhere to start. Damn girl, even I can give you that, if you don't know how to pull mana into your body start there, and then after you decide what kind of core you want, it will be easy and feel natural, said the kid with a bit of sympathy in his voice. What do you mean? Asked Nimbus. I mean what I said. Said, oh my god, kid, about what type of core do I want? What did you mean by that? Oh, you mean like mana heart versus a spirit core versus a soul realm versus a mental mana engine? Or what, how crazy you get into the clamped onto the various options? What do they all do? Well, all give access to magic silly, but allow you to expertise in different magical categories. So, what's the difference? Repeated Nimbus. Wow, okay. More specifically, Mana Heart. Simply put, creates a heart in your divinity. Deal there, motivating about pulling off kids.
Chrome, this is text team. Mid payment progress indicator. Chrome, this is text team. Mid payment progress indicator. You are currently on a
This should prove to you how long ago
document
I wrote
layout
these.
area
It actually
18
is taking
midnight
time for them to load from my iCloud server.
vertical split document layout area in page 1 summary 18 midnight oil. Nimbus began to research core body page 1 of 2 edit text speech muted.
Here we go.
Awesome Act, Midnight Oil. Nimbus began to research core creation and found that those that had the most knowledge on cores really didn't do all that much talking about what they knew. Not out of pride, as society was practically built on pride from what Nimbus knew, but because of secrecy. She thought it was dumb, and could now only think of one place she'd heard quite a bit about cores. Come on, one. You know we don't have all day, said Nimbus, grumbling to herself. Hello, said Elder Cloudfire in his childlike voice. Hey, thank God you got here quickly. I have the secret passcode, and you owe me a favor if I give it to you, right? Okay, I'll play along. This is new. Been come at a lot of ways, but... Nimbus cut him off with a name. Mrs. B-Brick, said Nimbus, and the speaker went silent momentarily. Who the fuck are you again? Your granddaughter. And how the fuck you know that name? Don't get mad and kill me. That would be a waste of your time. Instead, tell me about various types of cores. I gave you the password. All I want is some info. I hate you already. What about cores? You got one question. Now just how to remember this sequence and keep things as close to this as possible. Which Nimbus did, learning more and more about the choices before her. Catacomb of Stars is good for memory for a soul realm. Bolsters power and grows in volume the more you learn, answered Cloudfire simply. And your opinion when it comes to a spirit core. Nimbus always tried to slip in a continuance in their conversations, when using the password her elder had given to her whimsically, but had never been lucky until this very loop. Doesn't matter, that's pretty much a freebie. I even managed to make one and not die long ago, said Cloudfire. Nimbus nodded. Thanks, old man. Now for me to find a place with some divine energy and try this out. Nimbus left before the elder could open his gate and grant her entry. She would be back and would have to find another way to spark his interest. The ride up the mountain took around 5 hours originally to climb and had been stripped down to 3, while the return trip was now Nimbus's favorite part. She sped past cars, mounts, and even other bikers. She knew the off-world scene had larger biking prestige than her home, but being the fastest at her local track had ignited something within her. With the barrage of texts that Jericho was sending her, he too believed she was on the verge of something huge. She found herself at the library and lost not but a couple hours after leaving the peak of the mountain. So began Nimbus's true dedicated loop to try and accomplish something far beyond anything she'd done so far. The changes I made with my body thus far aren't nearly good enough if I can't even survive the fucking skill room at my local library, thought Nimbus, not knowing that her skills had already begun to skew what the system believed should be considered normal compared to what adversity may be faced by any one user. So I got to bridge the gap. Days went, and Nimbus became accustomed to much of the world she'd missed out on as a younger youth. Her mental age was growing. Yes, but she had only been at this for a few months' worth of waking hours. Love the Catacomb of Stars, but I bet a Sunstorm Vault may align with my affinities more as a soul realm, and for a mana heart. A pure energy conductor, but to top things off, I think I'll need a creator's sanctuary for my spirit core, thought Nimbus. She didn't know the pressure that her skills were putting on her to claim more of their kin, but the draw was powerful, and Nimbus was already being taken with desire.
Quick and easy.
Speech unmuted. Close window. Finder. Find 19. First step pages. Pages. Cancel. Button. Opening 19. First step pages.
Yeah.
You are currently on a button. To click this button, press Control.
I actually think it's going to be fun writing this and Death Wish on Pocket FM because Death Wish is more...
Document. Layout area 19.
More skill grinder, while Nimbus is more skill breaker. So, because Nimbus is a heretic, so she has all these weird abilities, whereas Riker from Death Wish has like basic ass skills that he's gonna end up combining. But you're gonna see a lot more of that because I've only gotten to chapter, I want to say 5 on Death Wish, but here we have closer to like 29, 30 chapters, so she's more developed, and I'm excited to see what I put down for the rest of this because a lot of it's coming back to me, but I know I end up getting into like her live streaming more and her facing the girls on the bridge more and things like that. So it's gonna be interesting seeing how I end up getting to retwist these back into one another. I think that's gonna be really exciting. So we'll see.
Page 2, page 1, in page 1 summary. Body, page 1 of 2. Edit text, content selected, body 19. Speech muted.
First step. Be careful when reaching for the sun. Some may burn underneath its glare, while others hold it in their grasps and merely weep at the sight of its dying light. Articulus silent vow. Nimbus read the words at the back of her mother's work badge and shook her head in disbelief. Pretty badass way of saying, don't play with fire if you ask me, thought Nimbus, setting down her mother's badge on the kitchen island they ate at almost 3 times a day as a family. What's up, Pilgrim? Said her mother as she approached Nimbus from upstairs. Nothing, just wondering if I could go to work with you today. First step. 19. First step. Be careful when reaching for the sun. Some may burn underneath its glare, while others hold it in their grasps and merely weep at the sight of its dying light. Articulus silent vow. Nimbus read the words at the back of her mother's work badge and shook her head in disbelief. Pretty badass way of saying, Don't play with fire if you ask me, thought Nimbus, setting down her mother's badge on the kitchen island they ate at almost 3 times a day as a family. What's up, Pilgrim? Said her mother as she approached Nimbus from upstairs. Nothing, just wondering if I could go to work with you today, asked Nimbus. Why would you want to go? Started her mother, but Nimbus cut straight to the point. By this point in the loop, Nimbus had learned to take a much more direct approach with both of her parents, learning over time they were weak when it came to helping not only Halo, but Nimbus as well. If there was one good thing she learned about her parents, that was the top of the list for sure. While she didn't know how to mentally address the many other things she'd uncovered about her family, this admittedly was one of the many good traits. Need to form a core, and I wanted to pick your brain. If I can get it done before the exam tomorrow, I may be able to pass with a better score. Her mother folded. So for the first time in a very long time, Nimbus found herself being driven somewhere in their family vehicle. So aren't you supposed to be picking my brain? Nimbus looked over to her mother and nearly laughed, until she realized that she more than likely was missing a great opportunity to speak to her mother. She did, in fact, have a knowledge gap, and if she was going to truly achieve her loop goal, she would first need to bridge that gap. Sorry, lost in the twilight. I'm doing research on legal cross-cores, and wanted to know your thoughts. Cross-cores, only a few types are legal: Mana Heart Spirit Core, Mana Heart Mental Energy System, and Spirit Core Mental Energy System, responded her mother. None with the Celestial Realm incorporated? Her mother shook her head. All of those would require divine energy to initiate, thus making them military-grade cores. Oh, okay. Didn't even know the military used stuff like that. Military owns the knowledge and pushes those in their umbrella to new heights with the information if possible. Most people just die trying. Have any heretics been successful due to a weird skill or something? What's with the sudden interest in heretics? This wouldn't be you wanting to follow in your mother's footsteps as a heretical skill researcher. Nimbus glared at her mother as she drove, chuckling at her demeanor. Take that as a no, my bad, but yeah, a few weird ones from a long time ago did it. One had pain resistance pretty high. Another had a literal multi-core affinity. One chick had too much elbow grease and raw grit in her blood. What? I'm serious, the bitch was hardcore, did it in her basement. Ended up blowing up a neighborhood when she awoke. Holy fuck, said Nimbus with a gasp. Yeah, but we are here, so get out and come along.
Let's get it.
Speech Finder. Find 20. Easiest target pages. Pages. Cancel. Button. Opening 20. Easiest target pages. You are currently on a button. To click this button, press Control, Option, Space. Cancel. 19%. Progress indicator. Document. Layout area 20. Easiest target pages. Window. Body. Page 1 of 2. Edit text. Content selected. Body 20.
Diverset. 20.
Speech muted.
Easiest target. The beautiful building sat on a large open plot of well-trimmed green grass. From their current vantage, they could see the building's architecture flow fluidly down the mountainside they'd driven up to get to her mother's job. You would think that this place would be at the center of Explore, said Nimbus. No way. The center of Explore is way too dangerous for such sensitive information. Did you know that some kingdoms in the mainland keep their heretical knowledge deep underground with how coveted the information within has become? No, knew your job was important, just didn't know how important, or why, still don't if I'm being honest. Nimbus knew heretical skills were hated, despised, sacrilegious maybe. Honestly, her opinion only ever looked at what a societal view stood on, hoping whatever argument had a good point, and guessed that the masses had the right answer in there somewhere. And now you want to rob one of the most secure places in the world, right? You got this, no big deal. You are outside the box. Break your fucking mind open, Nimbus. Nimbus did not rob the heretical office of research on her first visit. Instead, she shook hands, met the largest space, and before the end of the day, Nimbus truly did imagine a life where she followed her mother in her footsteps. How long? Way better than that to catch me off guard, little lady. Damn, she really is good at this. Nimbus was pulling random skills from random. A good memory skill? Mom, you got a memo skill? Asked Nimbus as they got back into the family car. Memory skill? Of course I do, silly. I like I have the internet in my head with a friend built from my memories, helping me do what I need to, I guess. Still sounds pretty awesome if you ask me. Heretical Office of Research spoke about skills. Nimbus wondered about another possibility. I was inspired by a heretical skill, actually, and just got a non-heretical version. I bloody knew it. Nimbus had wondered if her mom was one of the many within the research office that had obtained a regular...
Speech unmuted. Finder. You are currently on a 13% progress indicator. You are currently on a progress indicator. 21. Now in 20. Easy close. Now in 21. Hive mind pages window. 700 document layout area. Header group body and edit text new line body page 1 of 2 edit text content selected body 21.
The answer to her question was a skill so absurd that Nimbus could barely believe it to be real. That's definitely on the shopping list. The words hive mind was added to a list titled Heretical Shopping List displayed in the corner of her vision. Placed third behind, Heretical Core. Its description detailing its user having been able to use ambient mana to teleport and even form small portals. The limitations were non-existent as the... Gaining that one will be difficult, but hive mind on the other hand. Looking over her notes mentally, Nimbus honestly wondered why she didn't already have a nation of mental clones that can be given tasks and classifications. Though in their infancy, they cannot manifest themselves. With time, their presence cannot be destroyed unless the user is deprived of mana for more than one solar cycle. Previous owner obtained skill by fracturing their minds completely under the... Give me points right. What's got you so distracted, Pilgrim? You know it's not too late to go, said her mother, snapping her back into reality. Nimbus looked back toward her mother, gently grabbed her hand, placing the flats of Nimbus's fingers on her cheek momentarily, returning a smile of her own. I'm not worried, I promise. As she pulled her hand away. Obvi lying, Mom. I think your job is actually way more legit than I thought originally, and I admit I was wrong, said Nimbus, knowing that the loop would fix anyone ever knowing her admission for long. I will also admit that I'm running from my problems and don't want to face the SAT in the slightest. Her mother blinked in shock. Her mouth fell open, and she closed it before speaking a single word. Nimbus's gaze looked once more out the nearby window toward the mountain that pierced the clouds in the distance. In all reality, baby girl, I don't blame you. They'd had this conversation in many different ways over the loops. As Nimbus skipped the test every time, no matter how much her brother begged her that morning, or how much her dad eventually yelled in frustration, or even when she too felt she wanted to see what she was yet to face. So instead, she went to work with her mom, rode her bike up her family's mountain, and visited Elder Cloudfire. Beyond the gaining of her mana and the adjustments that came with mana rushing through her body, Nimbus felt her gains to be minimal. Beyond her practice of Tai Chi and her ability to bike at incredible speeds, she'd truly done nothing in regards of combat and skill growth. When her and her mother came home to a sullen house that night, Nimbus knew, as she had long known, that her brother hadn't done as well as he should have on the SAT. She'd lost count of how many times she'd come home on the second day of her many loops to her brother, locked away in his VR pod, testing his skills against the world. Something Nimbus felt she too should come to try. You can't stay scared forever. She once more opened her skill trees and finally made her first selection, stepping toward the second VR pod in their family's entertainment room, the furnished basement only humming with the silence of her brother's pod. Fuck it!
I knew this was coming. Endless Online.
Speech unmuted. Finder. Find 21. Hive mind pages 23. Could I be 22? Endless Online. Pages. Cancel.
Called
Button.
it.
Opening 22. Endless Online. You are currently on a button. To click this button, press Control, Option, Space.
Yeah, this is a series of my favorite chapters coming up pretty soon.
Document. Layout area 22.
It's maybe
Endless
not
Online window.
This one, 'cause
Actions
I think she
available.
just creates her
You are
character on this one, but I think it's the one after this one that I enjoyed a lot. I think it's Lightning Strikes Twice or something like that is the name of the chapter. I can't remember.
Page 1, page 2, page 1 summary. 20 body, header, group, body, and at beginning of text body 22. Endless Online. Copy. Actions available. Format text quickly by
22.
voiceover jumping to the
Endless
formatter.
Online.
You are currently on a
inside the
text
VR
area
pod
inside of a page. To enter text in this area, type Speech muted.
22. Endless online. Once inside the VR pod, Nimbus let the mana fog used to simulate her environment fill up the large cylindrical space. The pod itself was the size of a small living room, but was wide enough to give Nimbus a decent amount of space to move. Man, I can't remember the last time I used this thing. Her system, Mark lit, giving her menus and listed options for what she would like to do while in the pod, Nimbus flicking through the options to a game she hadn't played in years. Wow, I must have just been good at picking them out, said Nimbus, electing to play a game she'd lost much of her childhood to. A game now ranked the #1 MMO in the realm. Endless online. Nimbus loved to game online, but stopped after the friends she'd once had switched from fantasy servers to survival servers. Once they'd gained combat, movement, and utility skills, they no longer needed to use the given skills offered in fantasy servers. Instead, using their own while playing online to train their IRL potential, as it had been coined by the youth. A switch that Nimbus would now make herself. She used her previous character design. A rogue-like figure, sporting a hood and her family's tabard, was suddenly standing at the center of the pod, and Nimbus looked over the screens that popped up in her vision after she'd chosen her skill from her skill tree. Error 403, connection with server interrupted. Due to the chosen skill being a combat skill and the perpetual danger within the realms, a stand-in skill will be randomly chosen from the same category of skill. Initializing. New skill gained. One strike, twin tribulations. Mythical heretic grade. Infuse mana into your strikes to mark your target. Once marked, tribulation lightning gathered from the infinite many that have died to its refining and reaching grasp will be summoned, shooting lightning at the target's current blind spot. Mana cost incredible, returns surges of mana to user if target is killed. Cooldown, none. Well, fuck, that sounds way better than fucking zap to me. Sucks it has a huge mana cost, though. How will I use that with an assassin class, though? Nimbus normally played a stealth-based character, loving the classes normally given either stealth or outright invisibility. It was standard for the young woman who didn't like to be looked at. She pulled the superior weaponry she used from the fantasy server, only for a prompt to offer her a basic wooden version of the same weapon style. Fuck, can't use my gear, said Nimbus, accepting the prompt. A simple sword fell into Nimbus's hand, only for its blade to break into a whip-like chain as she pressed a latch on the handle. The latch slid with a smooth click, and Nimbus tried to whip her weapon about as she always had previously. Once more shocked, as she realized the in-game weapon skill that had previously aided her was a complete tool of the past, now that she was on a survival server. Ow, this may be rough. She straightened the links and returned the latch into its original position, locking the blade's links in place. The wooden sections were connected by what seemed to be an impressively strong vine, but Nimbus still worried over how much damage she'd do, and how durable her weapon would be against more experienced players on the PvP server she chose. Guess we're about to find out, thought Nimbus, as she found herself suddenly standing in a lush jungle. She immediately tried to engage stealth, yet nothing happened, leaving her standing in as wide an open space as one could be in a jungle. She turned. The whistle was soft and subtle, piercing through her mind as the arrow split her skull open from temple to temple. Game over. Would you like to try again? Yes or no?
Dead.
Speech end of text. Body and edit tab. Tab. Beginning of tab. End of text body tab. Body 22. Beginning of text body 22. Endless close window. Finder 22, 24, 23. Could I be any more bad? Pages. Cancel button. Opening 23. Could I be any more bad? You are currently on a 13% progress indicator. You are currently on a progress indicator.
One strike, twin tribulations.
Document. Layout area 23. Could I be any more bad? Window. Body. Page 1 of 2. Edit text. Content selected body 23.
23. Could I be any more bad? As a former streamer, Nimbus prided herself in being a good
Speech
player.
muted.
What that didn't make her was a good killer. Nimbus realized this after her third death, and was solidified in just how feeble she was after the 7th restart. It wasn't until after her 10th that she even managed to travel through a PvP zone. Finding herself in an olden city in the middle of the night was fortunate, and Nimbus was finally given a chance to join the ranks of the vetted survival server PvP combatants. She'd snuck through a bustling tavern by climbing through its rear window. It had taken her quite a while to make it onto the roof, but Nimbus had needed a place to think and gather herself. She'd often thought on the roof of her own home, and now found herself lucking into an opportunity due to the choice. She peeked over the edge of the rooftop into the alleyway, watching as two figures fought. Melee shield user and a flame-wielding caster, mumbled Nimbus. She would have engaged already if she could stealth, but she was forming new instincts with every death, not only in reality, but in the game as well. Something tells me that I should wait until one is dead and attack the other, but something else tells me, as a level 0 player, Nimbus's stats were beyond low and practically without benefit. So as Nimbus felt gravity take hold the moment after she jumped off the ledge, her lack of dexterity led to a graceless fall toward her target. Nimbus screamed in panic, holding her weapon above her head as she descended. Both players looked up as she fell toward them, shock crossing their faces for merely a blink before they tried to react. One strike, one tribulation, Nimbus yelled, flooding her simple wooden chainsword with mana as she brought the weapon down. The man below her raised his shield, blocking the strike perfectly, as the caster behind her summoned a massive ball of fire. The man laughed, shaking his head at Nimbus while raising his sword arm to lash out at her, chuckling at her unimpressive entrance and attempted sneak attack. Should have waited for this bitch to kill me off first, rogue. Could be looting both of us right now if you were more... The man was cut off by a charging sound like electricity being twisted together in clouds far above, only this sound originated but a yard from behind the man. Nimbus barely had time to land and try and make her next move before the white and red lightning was summoned. Nimbus's instincts took hold, telling her that she needed to move. So even as far more lightning than should be possible for a level 0 character to draw on surged through the air toward the back of the still-turning shield-bearer, Nimbus too turned. In a fraction, Nimbus faced the caster and dove directly toward the massive fireball the woman held in her hands. Everything slowed, the woman raising her elemental weapon above her head as she noticed Nimbus, as she cocked back her simple wooden chainsword, swinging once more as tribulation lightning struck her original target. One strike, one tribulation, bellowed Nimbus, pointing her sword's tip toward the heart of her second target. As Nimbus yelled, the man behind her exploded, gore covering the alley as Nimbus stretched through the air toward the caster. The woman roared her own fury as she brought down the fireball toward where she believed Nimbus would land. Yet Nimbus, through dozens upon dozens of hours of Tai Chi, was far more flexible than she once had been, turning her dive into a roll, unlatching the chain sword she held. In an admittingly clumsy swing, Nimbus managed just barely to strike outward with her weapon, looping the sword around the woman's ankle. She managed all this somehow while amidst an unpracticed roll, the momentum of her movements ending with her just behind the caster. Nimbus rose, yanking upward with all her might. The caster was swept off her feet with a yelp and astonishingly dropped on her head. Dropped on her head in a way that her newest skill felt to be a strike. A crackle was heard, and both Nimbus and her opponent looked up. It wasn't until lightning surged across the floor of the alleyway that Nimbus realized that the energy hadn't been summoned from above the woman, but in her blind spot. The caster, too, was exploded into a mess of body parts, leaving Nimbus blood drenched and panting. She looked down to see 2 gearboxes and smiled. She began to celebrate with a small jig, only to see the game over screen once more, her head tumbling from her shoulders as a true rogue swept through the alley just after her double kill. Motherfucker, I didn't even get to loot those.
Speech unmute. Finder, pages, close window. Finder, 23. Could I be any more? 25. 24. Too big for my britches, I guess. Pages. Cancel. Button. Opening 24. Too big for my britches, I guess. Pages. You are currently on a button. To click this button, press Control, Option, Space. 19%. Progress indicator. You are currently on document. Layout area 24. Too big for my britches, I guess. Pages. Window. Format. Move and resize items within the document. You are currently on the layout area.
So I think as of next week, we might only have 1 or 2. No, because we finished Lex with all the extra refreshers we did for him already. So we'll catch up with, I think, Cornerstone Coins, and that'll be the last series that we have to catch up with, and we'll be writing every day of the week in various series.
Vertical split document, layout area. In document, layout area. Body, page 1 of 2. Edit text, content selected body 24. Speech muted.
24. Too big for my britches, I guess. When Nimbus stepped out of the pod to an alarm, she was absolutely confused. The city-wide alarm was runically maintained throughout all of Explore and could always be heard by any within the city's limits. If it were a tornado, it would have stopped by now, right? Nimbus was unsure what was going on as she climbed up the steps.
At kid could be 1V and can't hear you talking when the computer is
Briefly
talking.
wondered if she should let him know, but dismissing the thought. Normally, she would have grabbed Halo as backup, but in that moment she felt liberated by her kills online. Ready to face anything, no matter how incredible of a new danger may be before her.
Thank you for letting me know that. I'll try to pause the story if I need to say anything and or while I'm changing between different screens and things like that.
Have I never lasted this long in a loop? It was nearly midnight as she stepped into her living room, taking in the lack of her parents. She turned to see a hand-written message on the floating island countertop, making her way over swiftly to see what it said. Food money has been sent to your accounts. We've been summoned by the Elder to help handle whatever is happening in the city center. Halo, you're amazing. Don't forget that, Nim. Be nice to your brother, and don't stay up late if you're going to come into work with me tomorrow. She set the pad down and turned to the television in the living room. It turned on with the wave of her hand, and after a few more flicks and a verbal command, the news was on. We have no idea the scale of the horde, yelled the reporter over the whipping winds of their current altitudes. Nimbus's eyes bugged out as she took in the sight of thousands of various animal life exploded from the middle ring of Explore. So many of the ferocious creatures exploded from within the expanse that Nimbus could barely see the ruins beneath the countless scrambling creatures. "Ow, wow. We're all gonna die," said Nimbus with a laugh, only realizing how strange such a thought should have been to have, well, after she'd stopped laughing at the frail defense her city put up in the face of the horde of monstrous animals. It was then that a memory flickered to life in Nimbus's memory of a deep, dark cavern lit by the light of an unfathomably large dungeon portal, a dimensional door that had grown so large that its size portrayed a mirror of the gateways of old. Portals so large elder demons could walk through freely as long as the mana of both environments could handle the transitions. For as long as she'd been in the loop, she'd honestly taken matters easy because her choices affected no one but her. Yet as she watched men and women with far more power than her shredded to bits by creatures of sky, land, and even sea, she felt guilty for the first time. She'd been given an opportunity to grow unlike any other before. Waited what felt like an entire lifetime, even to receive something of such a magnitude, and had just gotten done playing video games while the world caught fire. The more the people of her home died on screen horrifically, the more she felt responsible. She was not a demon, nor had she summoned them to her home to pillage and plunder, however. Her parents would most likely be a part of the men and women fighting to stop the horde. Nimbus's decision was made even before the news station decided to stop the broadcast. They could be dead too, for all you know. Nimbus looked to her sister Mark, and back to the screen that had just displayed carnage far more brutal and savage than even the SAT streams she'd been watching recently. I guess it's time to stop playing around.
Speech unmuted. Find Google Chrome Streamlabs desk button. Rec, but, link, rec, but, end stream. Live 0 hours, 42 minutes, and 50. Pages. 24. 2. Streamlabs desktop. Pages. Finder. 25, 26, 27, 28. Traction pages. Modified 27, 28. Traction pages. Modified by me. Pages document. Actions available. You are currently on a Pages document. To open.
I'm going to cut it here, guys. I want to stay on longer and I want to do a lot more episodes, but it's actually really late and I got to open up shop early morning. So I'm going to say my piece. Let me go through the rundown. Again, thank you for subscribing, everybody who's subscribing and watching these videos. We're already up to 720 subscribers. as of like an hour ago. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me, guys. It's been amazing so far. I love that everybody's watching and enjoying these videos. Thank you for buying my books. I really appreciate all the traction that we're getting from these lives. It means the world to me. Honestly, this is what I'm doing this for and what I want to be doing with my life. So I'm going to keep doing it. Please let us know favorite character in the story so far. We only really got a lot of intimate time with Nimbus for her series so far, so I can understand if, you know, you hyperfixate on her, but it's okay. We'll have more characters and more backgrounds. Coming rather soon, to be honest, because I see what I was doing with her series. I gave everybody kind of like an overview, but now I'm about to hit you with like a Hitman Reborn kind of, oh, it's time to take off the kid gloves kind of situation. So we'll see how that goes. Also, yeah, so if you leave the best comment in the videos for this week, of course, like I said, you have a chance to win a free book at the end of the week. I'll go over that on Sunday when I'm doing the Pocket FM episode on Sunday, or maybe on Saturday when I'm writing Ending Endless, or I haven't decided. I think I'm going to do a little bit of Drake and a little bit of Spell Tank on Saturday. I know I keep saying that, but what I've decided to do is maybe just do 2 episodes a piece for those series and start rather than not having anything put out for them. Yeah, because as soon as I get through the refreshers on those, I'll be able to start writing on them too. So that's exciting stuff. Sorry, I'm scratching my head because I'm tired and I will want to take a shower and go to bed. What else did I want to tell you guys? The Patreon advanced chapters are going to start next week. If you guys are interested, it's $1 to subscribe, and you'll get advanced chapters every week in all the series that I write. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I could be. It's probably because I'm tired if I am. But I really enjoy that you guys came, watched, enjoyed. It's been a blast. Honestly, next Wednesday is going to be crazy for Nimbus because she's really going to start live streaming again, really start challenging herself against her peers. And then when we start to write, you're going to see her challenge in not becoming the bully, her challenge in challenging herself in all of the different areas that she's yet to explore, her challenge in what occurs when she starts to imbue mana into the environment every time she goes to places and does Tai Chi, which she doesn't know is going to have crazy effects. If you're paying attention, you probably already got a slight understanding of why that might cause a problem. But yeah, no. Come back tomorrow. We're going to do Cornerstone Coins. It's going to be great. Other than that, I hope my cat hasn't bothered you all episode just yelling in the background. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I love you. Thank you so much. This has been a blessing. Come back tomorrow. Come back every day. Hope you're writing every day. Hope you're being good to yourselves. Hope you're living your best lives and really experiencing
That kid could be 1v and can't wait to see how this goes.
Yeah. Honestly. I can't either. But yeah. I hope you guys be good to yourselves. Come back tomorrow. And I hope the mana is with you, my fellow cultivators. Until we speak again.
Pages. Streamlabs desktop. Streamlabs.